Hello guys, and welcome to this web development workshop. So this is going to be a 7 days workshop and I'm your instructor throughout this course. I'm Dave and let's start with it. So in this 7 days workshop, we are going to learn about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we are going to start from beginner and we are going to go to advanced level. So if you are a beginner, you don't have to worry, we'll start from the scratch. And if you know something about HTML, CSS and JS, stick with the video. You'll surely learn something new throughout the course. Correct? So in today's video, we are going to start with HTML first. So we are going to start with HTML today. Okay. So what is HTML? First, let's see what is HTML. So HTML is nothing but your pen is getting. So HTML is your hypertext markup language. Correct. So it was first introduced by Berners-Lee in 1991. So mainly when it was developed, it was made for to transfer some data or scientific information in between scientists and all that. It was meant to be a formatting to format a document. It was meant for that only. But in today's world, we use it for multiple purposes. We use it in web dev. So if you are having interest in web development, this is the basic necessities that you are going to have to fulfill, because everything needs basically HTML only. So it is very important. So let's see what is a markup language. So markup language is nothing but it tells your browser, or let's say there is your Chrome browser, correct? So it will tell your browser how should your page look, what should be your page containing, how will it look. So there is a navigation over here, there are some contents over here, correct? So this is all the basic things that a website have. So what HTML does is HTML uses some predefined tags, correct? So let's say h1. So HTML uses some predefined tags. It tells the browser that your page should look like this. So if you write something in the page, so it will be in the heading tag only. It will show like heading, correct? Don't worry if you don't know heading, we'll learn that. But just for now, understand that it tells the browser how should your page look, correct? So it does that only. So firstly, it was meant for formatting document only, but later in the late 90s, it began to the use of it began to tend towards the web development, correct? So then let's see what are the applications of HTML. So where should we use, or where can we use HTML? So first of all, we can use in web pages, correct? We know about that, correct? Then there is internet, we know that also because we'll need internet. Then one of the most amazing thing about HTML is it allows you to make responsive website. So let's say if you are making a website for, let's say, laptop screen, then the same website should look good in mobile screens also, correct? Because some of the users will be seeing the website from mobile, some of them will be using a tablet, correct? So it allows us to make responsive websites. So you just have to code once and it will get changed according to the height and width of the screen, correct? So then there is offline support. Correct. So if you don't if the user doesn't have internet connections, so it is not very necessary that users should have internet connection. If the website is on the local device, it can run, correct? So these are some applications of HTML, correct? Let's move forward now. So now let's start with our HTML only. So till here, what have you learned? You have learned what is HTML and what are the applications of HTML. And now one more thing I want to tell you, that why you should learn HTML. because if you are having interest in web development, correct, so if you are having the interest in web development, it is the most basic thing. So if you like, you want to form a sentence in English, correct, so for that you have to learn ABCD, correct. After that only you will form sentences, correct. So like that only you have to learn HTML to get into the web development field. So it is necessary only, correct. So in the course what we are going to learn, we are going to learn HTML, CSS and JS, correct. So what is HTML? So let's say if there is a skeleton, there is a man, so the skeleton works as the HTML. HTML works as the skeleton of a human body, correct. Your CSS, so let's say human have skin and they wear clothes above it, correct, they wear clothes, so all of that is CSS. So CSS allows us to know show how the website looks nice, correct. And JS, it is for functionalities. We use JS in backend also, we use JS mostly for functionalities, different functionalities. So let's say if I want to talk with you, I have a functionality of talking, correct, so for that purpose we use JS. So with this, let's start with our HTML coding. Correct, so let me move on to my web browser screen, correct. So throughout this course we are going to use VS Code, which is a development environment, correct. We are going to use VS Code. So for that, go on to your browser and type VS Code, download. So you will get a website which looks something like this, correct. So from here you can download the VS Code. I have already installed the VS Code, so from over here you can download it according to your system. If you have Mac, download this. If you have Windows or any other, you can download from over here. So after the installation part is completed, this is how your VS Code looks, correct. So what is VS Code? So VS Code allows us to write HTML code and run it, correct. So it is nothing but an development environment in which you write your code, correct. So after you have installed VS Code, go over here, extensions, and then search for live server. So you will get something like this in live server. So just go on to the live server, and if you have not installed it, it will look, the button will be installed over here. So just click on that button. So live server will be installed into your system. After that, you just have to restart one time your VS Code, correct. So install this live server. After you have installed, you will get an option go live from over here. What it will do, I'll tell you in a bit. Just for now, install it, correct. So now let's start with our code. So let's say, let us first input the boilerplate code. Don't get tensed, I'll explain what is everything. So when you write your HTML code, there is the first tag, which is the doc type. So what does doc type do? So doc type tells that this particular document is containing HTML code, so that browser can understand that this is a HTML page. So it allows the browser to render it, correct. So it tells that this page is for HTML. And how you can get this code is, so VS Code provides you many functionalities. One of them is the boilerplate code. So see, let me show you again. So just type exclamation and then you can say boiler. So you'll get the option like HTML boilerplate code. Then just hit enter, correct. You can remove this conditional comments. We'll learn this later, correct. So this is how you can get your boilerplate code. So what is the boilerplate code? So the basic structure of HTML page, it's the same for every page, correct. So that is called the boilerplate code. So because the coder don't have to write again and again the boilerplate code, VS Code provides us the functionality of writing this in the one go, correct. So it makes the works easier for us, correct. Then what is this tag? So all of these are called tags, correct. This, all of them are called tags in HTML, correct? All of them have different meanings. We'll see each and every one of them. So let's start. So this is your HTML tag. So anything that you want to write in HTML, you have to write it in this two tags, in between these two tags, which is, this is your starting tag, this is called as starting tag, and this is called as ending tag. So in the ending tag, you are seeing a backslash over here, and this is your starting tag. So everything you write in HTML, you write it in between these two tags, correct? So after that, you have the head tag, starting head tag and ending head tag, and then you have the body part, starting the body part and ending the body tag, correct? So in the head tag, we are using meta tags. I'll teach you meta tags later in this course. So let's move on. So this is your title. So what does the title tag do? So title tag is nothing but the title of your page. So let's say first web page. So this will be your title of the page. So now if you have written this, just go over here and click on go live. So this will create a live server, correct? So over here you can see the name of your file. So HTML file contains the extension .html, correct? So when you create a file, save it with .html. So this is your live server. But because currently we don't have anything in our code, we are not seeing anything over here. But if you observe over here, you are getting the first web page. So this is your title. You can do this from your title tag. So anything that you want to provide in title, you provide over here, correct? Then again, we are using some meta tags. I'll teach you this later. Then we have a link tag. So what does link tag do? We'll see when we start with CSS. It links a file with this HTML file, correct? So when we use a CSS, we'll learn this. Then there is your body tag, correct? So everything we put in this body tag. So let's say there is something called a P tag, which is your paragraph tag. So you can write anything in the P tag. So let's say this is my first web page, correct? So my VS Code is in the mode of auto save. So I don't have to save every time. You can do this from the settings. So this is the magic of live server. You don't have to come over here and refresh every time. So because of that, we install the live server. So now you can see some content onto your web page, correct? So this is your paragraph tag, correct? Now let's see more tags. So now let's see some heading tags. So there are 6 heading tags available in HTML, which are h1 to h6. So first let's see h1. So this is your heading tag. So anything you put in between this is your heading. Correct? So this is your heading. You get your heading like this. So there are 6 heading tags available in your HTML. So what is the difference between each one of them? So there is nothing different in every one of them. Just the font size. Font size is different for every one of them. So heading 1 is the biggest. Heading 2 is smaller than h1. Then h3 is smaller than h2, and so on. Correct? So you can observe over here, h1 is the biggest, then there is h2, h3, h4, and you can go until h6. Correct? So now let's see br tag. What does br tag do? So let's say you are providing some text in your paragraph tag. Hello world, this is my first web development project. I am learning something new. Correct? So this is how you are getting your text currently. right? So let's say I want this much to be in my first line, this much to be in my first line, and I want that this will come in the new line. So for that, what you can do, you can use line break. So for that, there is a tag called br tag. So let's say we can put a br tag over here, and it will make this line go into a new line, correct? So you can observe here now. So br tag will provide you with a new line, correct? So let's say you are done with your paragraph over here, and now you want to put a horizontal line over here like this. This is your horizontal and this is your vertical axis, correct? So you want to put something like horizontal line over here. So for that, what you can do, you can use hr tag, correct? So you will get a horizontal line over here like this, correct? So I would suggest that you do with me only. Uh, Go to your computers and try it now only. It will be easier for you, correct? Now let's see center tag. So one more thing, we are currently using HTML5, so you can write HTML5 also over here. So there are many versions of HTML. So in which year it was this? So it was published in 1991, correct? So HTML 2.0 was announced in 1990s, I guess, 1995. Then in 1999, HTML 4.1 was introduced, and currently we are using HTML5, right? So HTML5 supports a tag which is called center. It was not in the previous versions, so make sure you are using HTML5 only. So let's say this is my heading, correct? I want this heading to be in the center of the page, correct? So for that, we can use center tag. So it is not very advisable to use center tag. I'll teach you later in the course why it is not advisable, but you can use this, correct? So this is how you'll get your heading in the center, correct? So next, which tag we are going to see? So let's see a pre tag now. So sometimes you are going to have to write some paragraphs or some description, correct? So you want that everything you write will be as it is in your web page, correct? So for that purpose, what you can do is you can use a pre tag. So everything you write in a pre tag, which it will be printed as it is onto your web page. Let's say this is my pre tag. I am printing something like this, correct? So it will be as it is. So for that purpose, you can use your pre tag, correct? So let's move on. Now which tag we are going to see? We are going to see NBSP. So let's say you want to print something. Let's say you are printing something, a name of your book, correct? So let's say, correct. So assume that this word is in the last of the line, at the end of the page, correct? So if it is at the end of the page, what it will do is it will print the Great Gatsby into the new line. So you don't want that to happen, correct? So for that, what you can use is you can say it is a NBSP. So what does NBSP mean? So it is non-breaking space. So it tells the browser that don't make this in new line, correct? So it will print them together only. So for that, you can use your NBSP. So now let's see attributes. What are attributes? So let's say this is your paragraph tag, correct? Let's remove this one. Let's say this is your paragraph tag and heading tags, correct? So you can provide attributes to your elements. So this is all your tags are correct. This is these are your tags, correct? Also called as elements. You can call it as elements. So elements have attributes of its own. So you can provide various attributes and do various things with it. So let's say first we'll see that what I want to do is I want that this text is aligned to this side of the screen, correct? So for that, what you can say align, and you can say right. So this is aligned to the right now, correct? So you can also say center, so it will be aligned to the center. You can say left, left is by default only, this will be aligned to your left, correct? So this is your attribute. So there are some most basic attributes available in HTML. So which are they? So we can say your ID tag. So let's say your ID, your class, your ID, your class, then which one is there? Your style tag and your title. So these are the most basic attributes that you can use. So we'll see each and every one of them. So what does the ID do? So let's say you want to uniquely identify this particular paragraph tag. So when you're developing a website, correct? So you'll be using various paragraph tags, correct? So for how you can identify this particular paragraph tag, so for that purpose you can use ID. So we can say ID is equal to the first. You can provide anything. This is just for example, the first paragraph, correct? So when you use CSS and you give style to it, so you can uniquely identify this particular paragraph tag, correct? So then there is a one more attribute called class. So you can also provide a class to it. So what does class do? So let's say you want to group some of the elements into one. So mainly let me show you something. Get into my tablet first. Correct. So are you able to see now? Yeah, you'll be able to see this now. Correct. So let's say this is your HTML web page, correct? So there are various components of your web page, correct? So let's say this is your navigation menu, this is your side nav, then you are providing some pictures over here, then you are providing some content over here like this, then you are providing some content over like this, then you are providing with a footer, correct? So these are various component of your of a web page. So how you can do this is you can use various classes. So let's say you can put this in one class and then you can provide the CSS for it. So this is your one class. So what a class does is it groups your elements into one common element, correct? Then you can say this is your one outer class, this is your one inner class, correct? So this is how you can use various classes to do the things, correct? So for that purpose classes came into the picture and you can use classes, correct? So now let's move on to the code only. So let's see. So you can how you can provide a classes. You can go on to the any element, you can say class and you can say paragraph class, correct? So when we use CSS, this is going to be very important for us. Currently you will think this is not important, but this is important. You will get to know it later in the course, correct? So now let's see your title tag. So when you provide something like this is sample. So when you use a title tag, so you can say title is equal to example, correct? So what will happen is when you hover on this sample, it will provide you with some pop-up for like the information about it. This is a sample. Just hover on it. So you can see a small box coming over here like example. So this is the title that we provided, correct? Then there is your style tag. So style attribute is used to provide your style, the CSS. So this is called as inline CSS. So we'll see when we start with CSS, correct? So now let's move on with your internationalization attributes. So what are they? So there is one called with dir. So when you provide this HTML over here, you can write dir is equal to, you can say left to right. So LTR means left to right. So what is this dir? So it is the bidirectional. So what it does is, so let's say you are writing your contents in English, correct? So we have to provide right to left over here, correct? Go on to your web page. So you can see everything coming to the right over here. So what it is doing is, so when you're writing in English, correct? So we read from right to left. So it tells the browser to go through the content from right to left, correct? So we don't provide usually it over here, but for the example purpose, I have provided over here. So there is one more thing, LTR. So when you write Arabic or Urdu, something like that, so we read it from left to right, correct? So for that purpose, you can use LTR. So you can provide it on any tag. So if you provide it in the HTML tag only, so it will be applied to all the elements, but you can also provide it on the particular tags, correct? Then there is something also called as lang. So you can see over here, you can provide lang over here. You can say en, correct? So what does lang mean is, so it is an attribute which specifies that the most of the content that you're providing on your website is in English. So this is providing that language is English, correct? So you can write this also. Then let's see some more attributes. So we have seen align. Then you can also use v-align. So v-align is nothing but your vertical align. So we currently don't need it. Then there is bg color. So what does bg color do? It provides you with the background color. So it is not working with this version, I guess. So you can use, if you can see if this is working for you, you can use bg color. Then there is background. Then there is width. You can also provide with width. So in width or height, let's say if you are providing an attribute width, you can say the width of it. So we use mostly in pixels. In the starting part, we'll use pixels. So px specifies is pixels. So the width will be 100 pixels only, correct? You can also provide it with less. So mostly when we work with images, we'll use this width and height attributes, but with text we don't use it that much, correct? So now let's see with some more attributes. So we'll now start with our formatting, correct? So we'll see how you can format your elements in the let's say paragraph or heading or anything. So there are something called formatting tags in HTML. So first let's take some, I guess this will provide us. Yeah, VS Code is providing us with lorem. So if you want to generate some random for testing purposes only, you want to generate random text, you can use lorem ispum. So just write lorem, or you can provide the character strength also. So this will generate a random text for you, correct? So you can test it. So now we'll start with our formatting tags. So let's say I want to make this much of my text bold. So for that purpose, I can use the B tag. Correct. So if you observe over here, this is now bold. So B tag is used to bold something. Then there is your italic tag. I stands for italic. So if you want to do something in italic, you can provide I for it. So this is italic now, italicized, correct? Then let's say if you want to provide a line on something, so you can use a strike. So if you observe, this is now striked out, correct? So let's see some more. You can also provide it with TT. Correct. So if you observe over here, it is now in the different text. So when you want to provide that this text should look different, you can provide it with a TT. Correct. Then there is emphasize tag. So the text you put in between your em tag, it is called as a emphasize tag. So it is also, it will work like italic tag only. So it is providing in the italic manner only, but it is somewhat different, correct? So then there is a strong tag. So strong tag is also used to make the text bold only, but there is a difference. So when you want that this particular text is containing some meaning, more strong meaning, then you can use a strong tag. But if you just want to bold it for showing it, you can use a bold tag, correct? So both are doing same thing only, but it is a little bit different. So when you, let's say, put your cursor on the strong, so you can observe over here that the strong element represents a strong importance, seriousness, or urgency for its contents, correct? But when you provide it on the B, you put it on the B, so what does it say? The B element represents a span of text to which attention is being drawn for purposes without conveying any extra importance and with no implications of alternate voice or mood, correct? So both are doing same thing, but you can use them. Yeah. So let's move on. So let's say you want to provide some superscript or subscript. So let's say you want to write 2 raised to 3. So what you can say, superscript and then 3. So observe over here, it is 2 raised to 3 now, correct? Then let's say if you want to write something in your subscript, so let's say you want to write something in subscript, so you can write it in sub tag, correct? So observe over here, it is now on the subscript, correct? So let's move on with that formatting now. So which code we'll see now? So you can also write insert and delete tags. So let's say I want that this is my new inserted tag, this text is my newly inserted, and this text is my old text and I have deleted this. For that purpose you can use del tag, and to show something as inserted you can use a ins tag, correct? So see over here, you can observe over here. So this is your deleted tag and this is your newly inserted tag text, correct? So you can also provide let's put some more text. So you can also provide an underline tag, u tag, to show an underline. So correct, this is a new one. So if you observe here, you will get an underline over here, correct? So let's move on now. So next, what tag we'll see? So formatting tag, mostly all of them are covered now. So you can use big and small also. So it is used for to make the text big comparatively, and small is used to make the text small comparative to current font size. Correct. So you can observe it over here. So this is a little bit large than the usual text, and this is a little bit smaller than the usual text. Correct. So let's see which tag now we are going to see. So we have done superscript, subscript, strike. We have seen mark strong. So yeah, there is one more thing. You can use abbreviation and DFN tag also. DFN tag is somewhat important, so we'll see that. So let's say you are providing something. You have made a website, some informative website, and you are providing a term for the first time onto your web page. So let's say I have declared an x as a 10 for the first time, and in the later context I'm going to use the x only. So if you are doing something kind of this, so you can provide it in the DFN tag. Correct. So it is in italicized manner. So it is used for that purpose. So when you are providing it with the first time some definition, you can put it in the DFN tag. Correct. So we are also done with DFN tag. So let's see some more. We'll see block quote also. Correct. So we are getting your block quote like this. So what is you what why do we use block quote? So let's say you want to put some quotes or something which is a little bit like this. So you want to put some padding into this. So for that purpose you use your block quote. So it will look something different on the screen. Correct. So then you can use your cite also. Correct. So it is also coming in italicized manner. Now let's see which tag we are going to see. So we are doing coding, correct? So let's see some tags for coding. So let's say you want to provide some code onto your website. So for that purpose you can use your code tag. So you can provide some code over here now. So let's say let's put it in the new line only. For new line, what do we use? We use line break. Correct. So this is how your code will look now. Correct. So let's say you are making some variables, correct, over here. So for that purpose there is a var tag to provide it that it is a variable. Correct. So it doesn't do anything new, but yeah, you can use this tag. Correct. So now that we have seen this, you can also use address tag. uh, then yeah, let's see abbreviation tag. That is important. So abbreviation is nothing but, let's say WHO is there, correct? So WHO stands for what? World Health Organization. So what you can do is you can use it abbreviation, and then you can say the full form of it, and you can provide the abbreviation over here. So the printing part will be done to this only WHO, but when you hover over it, it will get you the abbreviation. Put your cursor on it, so you'll see the full form of it. For that purpose, you can use this abbreviation. Yeah, then you can use your address also. So let's say if you want to provide some address, you can use address tag, correct? So this is not very important, but yeah, it is there and you can use it. Yeah, so we are done with our almost every formatting tags. So we have seen every formatting tag. Let me check once. Yeah, we are done with mostly every formatting tag. So now we'll move on with, yeah, so now we'll move on with our meta tags. So when we started this HTML web page, we had seen some meta tags, correct? So these are your meta tags. So why it is there and why we use it? So if you have learned some programming or anything technical, what is metadata? You can comprehend, correct? What is metadata? Hold on. Hello. Yeah. क्या दिख रहा है? ओ, ये कब से दिख रहा था? ओके ओके ओके, सॉरी. So there was some technical issue. Okay, so where did we stop exactly? Hold on 1 second. Let me check how much did you miss out. Okay, so just let me provide you with this only. So uh, we use this dfn tag, correct? Then we use this block code to provide with it some codes. Then we used site. Then we used abbreviation. The abbreviation looks something like this. This is your abbreviation. You provide it with title and then a small pop-up will come, correct? So yeah, we have seen this much. Now we are moving forward it with meta tags, correct? So what is meta tags? So meta tags is used to display metadata. So what is metadata? So it is the data about data. So let's say you are making some website, correct? And you want to provide some data about the page, that who is the author of this page, when was it published, when was it made, what is the content that you are putting in it, what are the keywords, what is the care set that you are using, what is the description of it. So all this data you can provide it with meta tags. So for that purpose you use meta tags, correct? So first of all, you can see a care set over here. So it tells that it is using your UTF-8 care set, correct? Then there is your HTTP EQ. So this is a very nice tag, or you can say attribute. So what it does is, so let's say provide it with refresh. So we'll see what it does and provide over here that I want that my page refreshes on every 4 seconds, correct? So go on to your page now. Let's say I'm selecting this. Observe it. After every 4 seconds, page is getting refreshed, correct? So you can do this from over here. So it is not very important, but yeah, you use this. Then there is your description. So you can provide the description over here of the web page. Then there is your viewport. So you can provide anything in your name attribute, and then you provide some content about it, correct? So these are your meta tags, correct? So now that you know meta tag, now we'll see conditional comments. So if you observe over here, this is a comment. So first of all, let's see what is a comment and how you can use it. So let's say you are developing a web page, and the same page you'll come and look after some time. So you'll forget that what is this code doing and how it is doing it, correct? So for that purpose, coders uses comments, correct? So you provide some comments in it. So how you can provide some comments is, so you can say less than exclamation mark double slash. So this will make this a comment. So a comment is not rendered by the web page, correct? So it is ignored by the web page. It is for the coder's purposes, correct? So if you let's say center tag will make the text center, correct? So it is not coming onto our web page, correct? But it is for the purposes of coder, that coder can understand how is the code going on. So for that purpose we use these comments, correct? So there is something called conditional comments in HTML. So what is the conditional comments? So in Windows it is only supported by your Internet Explorer, I guess. Yeah, Internet Explorer only. It is not supported by Chrome. But yeah, it is there. So what it does is you can put some condition over here. Yeah, so it is saying if LT is IE7 less than IE7. So if your I is less than 7, then it will print this into the comment, correct? Otherwise it will not. And then we are saying end if. So if should be ended over here, correct? So let's say you are making a website for different devices. So let's say you are making for a laptop or a mobile or different devices. So you provide different CSS for all of them. So when we use that, this conditional comments and statements are very helpful to us. So we can say if the screen is of the width of laptop size, you can perform this, or else you can perform for the mobile's width and height, correct? So for that purpose this is used. This is called as conditional comments. Yeah, so now we have seen conditional comments. So let's move on. Now we'll see some image tag, how you can put some image onto your web page. So for that, let's first download some image. So we'll say what image should we download? We'll download some anime image. Let's say this is your image. Go to the folder where you have created this project. You can go to the folder and just paste your image there, correct? Now go on to your code. Let's say I want to put my image over here. So for that, what you can use your image tag. You can say src is equal to what is the image's name. It is download only. So you can say download.jpg and observe over here what we have done over here. So until now you are getting a starting tag and a closing tag, correct? So you have provided a starting p tag over here and an ending p tag over here. So there is something called as self-closing tags. So there are few self-closing tags available in HTML. So what happens in them is you don't have to provide it with closing tags. You just provide a backslash and greater than over here and it is closed on its own, correct? So this is self-closing tag. So you can see your image is getting onto the web page now, correct? So now we can see your height and width attribute. You can say height is equal to, let's say, 300 pixel, and you can say width is equal to your 400 pixel, correct? So now your image is a little bit bigger, correct? So there are some other tags also. Let's say you want to provide some video onto your web page, so you can provide a video over here. Then you can also provide some audio also. These are all HTML5's new tags. So you can also provide some audio tag, and then with the help of JavaScript we'll learn that how you can play audio into your web page, correct? So if you want to put some YouTube video, you can just copy the link of a YouTube video and paste it over here, correct? But you have to take a non-copyrighted video, so then only it will be played, correct? So now you know how you can use video, images and audio tags, correct? So with this we'll start with our table tag. So let's say you want some data to be printed onto your website. So for that purpose you use table tags onto your web page, correct? So there is a predefined tag called as table, correct? So what table does, it makes a table. So there are some tags which you can use your table. The table contains your table row and your table data. These are the attributes, or let's say tags, that you can use. So what does tr stand for? So it is for a table row. So let me move on to the white screen, make you understand. Yeah, yeah, so it's visible now. So let's say you want to provide some table onto your web page. Let's say this is your table. So this is your table, correct? You want to provide it with some data. So this is your heading. Let make it something dark. So this is your heading. So we can say name, age, sex, class, correct? So this is your table heading. So these are called as rows. These are your rows, correct? And these are your columns. These are known as your columns. So what is a table made of? So it is made of rows and columns, correct? So we want to make a table which looks something like this. So for that, what you can use? So firstly we'll say we are going to use a table tag, correct? Then this is your first row, correct? So to make a row, what you can use is you can use a tr tag. So it will make a table row, correct? So you can say a tr, and in that these are your columns, correct? So you can make various columns by performing a td into it. So if I write one td, the first column will be made. If I write another td into it, another column will be made. Let me give a, let's just erase this, write it again. Table, then first row, then your first column, your second column, your third column, then first row gets over, then your second row, and so on. You also have to close this, correct? So this is how you can make a table, correct? So this is your table, and we are going to understand how you can make a table which looks something like this, correct? So let's move on with it. So let's say you want to make a table, which we just got the example. So you can say first table data. So you can say first column's name is, so we have provided one table row, correct? So first one was name. Then you can say next table data. So next column is your age, your your class, correct? So we had this. So border attribute will make a border line around your table. Let's remove the image. It's so we are on to this only. So yeah, now you're able to see the code. So yeah, we made this table, correct? So just let's remove the image first. It's occupying too much space. Now you'll get to see better. So now you can see that a row is made. So we have provided one tr and 4 columns are made, correct? So now let's make another row, table row. Let's make 2 more table rows, and then let's provide it with 4 columns because we have made 4 columns, correct? Then there is age, there is this, then there is class, say 12th, and 10th. He's small, he's in 10th, she's in 10th, correct? So now you can see your data over here, correct? So this is how you can make your table. So now let's see some more your attributes in the table. So we are providing td over here, correct? So these are also called as, we can say these are your headings of the table of the columns, correct? So you can use a tag called th. So th stands for table heading. So just make it as a th over here. And now you can observe that this is getting bold. So these are your headings now, correct? So now you have seen this. So now let's move on. So next topic which we are going to see. So we are going to see row span and col span, background color and border color. So let's see row span and col span first. Then we'll move on with which lists. We'll move on with lists. So let's move on with row span and col span now, correct? So let's say we have a table which is made something like this, correct? So let's say I want that in the name column, yeah, I want that these two cells merge and there is only one cell over here. So for that, what you can do is just go on to over here, and what you want to merge, you want to merge 2 rows, correct? Over here you want to merge 2 rows. So for that, what you can do is go on to here and you can say row span is equal to 2. So now you can see name is only one over here, it is occupying of 2 cell space. So this is your row span. So when you want to merge multiple rows into one single cell, you can say row span, correct? Now let's say I want that all these 3 columns which are over here becomes only one column, correct? So what you can say over here is you can say col span is equal to 3, and then you can remove this other values. Yeah, so see over here, it is your col span of 3. So this is these are your columns, correct? So we are merging 3 columns together, correct? So for that purpose you can use columns, col span, correct? Now there is one more sophisticated way to make a table. So what is that? So first let's see cells padding and spacing. Yeah, see. So when you provide cell spacing, what it does is it makes the space between your cells. So this is your one cell, this is your another cell. So it is getting some space in between your cells, correct? So this is how you can provide some space into your in between your cells. Then there is something called as cell padding. Let's say 5. So now if you observe over here, it is providing padding in between your this border of the cell and the content of the cell. So there is div over here, correct? So it is providing space in between the cell border, and the content. So for that purpose, you can use cell spacing and cell padding. So now let's move on with a sophisticated way to make a table. So a sophisticated way to make a table is, so you can just write a table over here. So you can roughly divide your table into 3 parts. So one is table heading, one is table footer, and one is your table body. So for that there are 3 tags, which is table head. So it shows that it is the heading of the table. Then there is your table foot tag. So it shows that this is the footer of your table. Then you can say table body. Correct. So in table heading, what you can do is you can create a table row, correct, and just provide some table heading into it. So let's say this is my table head part, and we'll say call span of 3. In footer, let's make a row and provide it with some table data. Provide it with call span of 3. This is the footer of the table, correct? Then provide something into a table body. So let's create a table row and provide with some columns. So we have provided with call span of 3, correct? So we have to provide minimum 3 of the columns. So you can say 1. Oh, we are onto this only. I can't write 2. So we'll say something else. We'll say 1, 2, and 3. Correct? We haven't provided border yet. So provide a border. So now you can observe it. So there is something over here. So what we made a mistake over here. Trace good only. Table footer. Okay, we forgot to provide a table footer with call span. We just provided calls over here. Correct. So this is a decent table how you can make it. You can also provide height and width. I guess you can try it. I don't think you can provide it with height and width. Oh, we are providing it in TD. Yeah, we are able to provide height and width. You can go on and provide it. Okay, so this is somewhat very big. You can see it now. So yeah, this is the decent way how you can make a table, correct? So now let's move on and see lists. So what are lists and how you can make them? So there is tag called your UL. So UL is nothing but unordered list. So in unordered lists, you can provide li. your list item, correct? You can say list item. This is my first one. This is my second one. This is my third one. So we made it in the table only. Correct. So now you can see a unordered list over here, which is provided with some bullets, correct? This is how you can make a unordered list. So now we'll see a ordered list first. Then we'll move on with DL. So ordered list is opposite of your unordered list. So it is ordered in numbers, or let's say anything, characters. So if you observe the list, you are getting numbers over here, correct? So we are getting 1 2, and over here we are getting some bullet points, correct? So now let's move on with your EL. First of all, let's see some types of it. So if you want to provide some type over here, you can provide it. Let's say I'm not liking the circles, so you can provide it with square. The bullets will be becoming square. Then you can use disk or circle. So disk is your this only, and circle is a empty circle, correct? And empty circles. And in ordered list, you can provide various types. So what you can say is, if you provide it with a small I, so it will be in the Roman numbers, correct? If you provide it with capital I, it will be in capitals. If you provide it with 1, it will start from 1. If you provide it with some character, it will start from characters, correct? You can also provide a starting condition. So you can say start from, let's say 4, start from 4 only. So it is starting from 4 and going forward, correct? So you can provide your start condition over here, correct? So now what we'll see a DL tag, definition list. So that is also important. So when do you use definition list? So let's say you are providing some list, and in which there are some data with its definition. So you are providing the term first, and then you are providing the definition for it. So for that you can use a DL, a definition list. In that you can say your definition data. So you can say your definition term and definition. So let's say definition term, let's say something important. Okay, so this is your term, correct? Now you provide a definition for it. So this is some very important definition which you will never remember. Definitions are like that only, no? So you'll never remember this. So now you can see the terms come first, and then you can see a definition for it, correct? So with this, we have seen all the basic tags of HTML. So now you can practice these tags, and you can say that you know the basics of HTML. So these are the most basic tags that you can use in the HTML, and you'll be working with them only. So I request you to move on to your computers and try it out. So in the next video, what we are going to use, so we are going to see some advanced concept in HTML, and then we are going to start with CSS. So I hope you have learned something new in this video, and I hope you like this video. If you do like, or if you have any doubt, put it in the comment sections. Yeah, so this is about this video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.